Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Well, yesterday on my snippet that I did, oh my goodness, I think I packed about an hour's worth of information in a 15-minute video. Today I want to kind of go back to that video a little bit and go over some things that I made statements about. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about this book as well. I ordered this book. I'd studied hell and the roots of all of that, where we got that theology from here in America, and found out it was from the Roman Catholic Church, taught by St. Augustine in the 5th century. And before that, none of the Christian churches believed that. I'll cover a little bit more of that as I talk today. But when this book came in, I don't generally read a book from cover to cover the moment that I get it. I usually have 3 or 4 different books I'm reading at one time, which isn't always a good way to approach, because I kind of get interested in one and lay some of the others aside. But anyway, I read this book cover to cover the evening. I got it one day, and that night I sat down and started reading it, and I did not lay it down until I had finished it, okay? So let me go, what I want to do today, because I've mentioned the impact that St. Jerome, the translator, and yes, it's, the church, I'll hear these teachers say, you can't read a Bible that one person translated. Well, you know what? If you're reading your King James Bible, you're reading from an offspring of a Bible that was translated through one man, St. Jerome. I haven't found an American Bible, really, that hasn't had a lot of influence through St. Jerome, unless they were written by Greek scholars who went back to the original Greek manuscripts or text and did their translations. But if they're using other Bibles, obviously they're going to repeat some of the same errors, okay? Let's think about it like this, okay? If I'm baking a cake and I've put something in that cake that does not belong, okay, that makes it not taste good or whatever, and I write that recipe and I publish it, every person that uses that recipe, the source of that cake, is going to have bad results of it, okay? So this is why I want to talk about St. Jerome and St. Augustine today, because these two men literally changed Christianity, not working together. They were enemies with each other and was striving against each other within the hierarchy, the ranking, and climbing that religious leadership ladder, so they were at odds. But the two of them did so much damage to what the early Christian church taught and changed theology and doctrines. And right now today, many of the beliefs that we have are nothing but doo-doo doctrines, stinking thinking that our pastor poopies in the pulpit may lovingly and unknowingly repeat, okay, because that's what they were taught. And that's what I have found through my studies of the doctrine, the false doctrine, the lie about hell being a place of eternal conscious torment lasting forever, for all eternity. And nonetheless, the people are thrown there by Jesus himself, who says, love your enemies. Okay, so let me hop in here, and I'm gonna, I hope I don't go pack so much in today, and that I can be strategic, okay? I want to read to you, I told you that Jerome, who translated the Latin Vulgate between 382 and then completed it in 402, all of the Old Testament and New Testament, he completed that for the Roman Catholic Church, and they adopted his Latin Vulgate as their official Bible. You got to remember, the Roman Catholic Church had more money and more political power, political backing, okay, by the Roman government. So we already know who's going to propagate and spread their message more effective. Of course, it's the Roman Catholic Church. But they commissioned St. Jerome to come up with a Bible translation that they would adopt and make as their official Bible. I told you that Jerome was what the Christians love to get that universalist rock and throw it at people here in America especially and say, oh, you're a heretic, you're a false teacher because you believe God is actually great enough and mighty enough to undo what Adam did through Jesus and defeat Satan. Yes, I guess I am a heretic because I took God out of my little Christian box that we have him in America because we believe Roman Catholic doctrines and don't know any better because people don't teach us any better. And then we're reading a corrupted Bible translation with all these words like hell in them and hell was never in any Bible until Jerome put infernos in the 400 AD, and then as English began to propagate and be spread as a very common popular language, we see in 1382 where Wycliffe used the word hell 122 times. So what I want to do today is I want to read you some quotes by St. Jerome, the very man who put the word infernos in the Bible for the first time in 400 AD. I want to show you that he was actually a universalist and what he believed that God would do. And we think he thought everybody was going to go to hell unless they said a sinner's prayer. Not so, my friends. Let me read you some quotes from St. Jerome. In the end and consummation of the universe, all are to be restored into their original harmonious state, and we all shall be made one body and be united once more into a perfect man, and the prayer of our Savior shall be fulfilled that all may be one. Did you know that he has just combined several scriptures, into one statement? Jesus was absolutely, totally victorious in the job that he was sent to do. What God sent him to do, Jesus was completely victorious. God did not fail, the Father did not fail, and Jesus did not fail. Let me keep going here. In the end or consummation of all things, all shall be restored to their original state and be again united in one body. We cannot be ignorant that Christ's blood benefited the angels and those who are in hell, though we know not the manner in which it produced such effects. The apostate angels shall become such as they were created, and man, who has been cast out of paradise, shall be restored thither again. That means restored again, And this shall be accomplished in such a way that all shall be united together by mutual charity, so that the members will delight in each other and rejoice in each other's promotion. The apostate angels and the prince of this world, through now ungovernable, although now ungovernable, plunging themselves into the depths of sin, shall in the end embrace the happy dominion of Christ and his saints. And this is Jerome's Commentary on the New Testament. Now, I want to say this. He used the word hell here in an original Greek, or original Latin, I should say. I'm sorry, I'm tongue twisted a little today. The original Latin was the word infernos. So he does believe that people are being punished, but he does not believe that people will be punished forever and ever. As you can see here, he didn't even believe that the fallen angels would be punished forever. And here's another quote. Now, it says, our Lord descends and was shut up in the eternal bars in order that he might set free all who had been shut up. The Lord descended to the place of punishment and torment in which was the rich man, in the rich man and Lazarus parable, in which was the rich man in order to liberate the prisoners. Now here's one that really shocked me right here. I know that most persons understand by the story of Nineveh and its evil king the ultimate forgiveness of the devil and all rational creatures. Now look, Jerome believed to the degree of all being restored meant all. That meant the fallen angels as well as the devil. So anyway, that's what the man that put the word infernos in the Bible for the first time, and through that came, just shortly after that, Another man named St. Augustine picked up that word and ran with it and formed the hell doctrine that we now believe, and that was done in the 5th century in the Roman Catholic Church. Here's a quote by St. Augustine now. There are many in our day, though not denying Holy Scriptures, do not believe in endless torments. Did you get that? Now he knows, and in other quotes, it's a longer one, he says that the majority of the believers in the Roman Church do not believe in eternal conscious torment and punishment forever, but that they will be made pure. And I did not copy that, but that's what he's talking about right here. This is the guy that came up with a lot of false teachings and doctrines and belief systems that limit the power of God, limit the works of Jesus. Here's some of the doctrines that he came up with. Original sin, free will, to the degree that we have the ability to override what God's plan and end decision will be for all of his creation, okay? So, yes, we have free will, and I agree with that. We can make our own choices, and our choices will determine what we what happens to us in this lifetime and everything. But our free will choices will not ultimately stop God from reconciling all of mankind, the entire world, his entire creation, back to himself into its original condition. And that can happen in this lifetime or on the other side of the grave. Another one that he came out with, original sin, free will overriding God's will, predestination of only certain people being selected by God, the super sovereignty of God, that God is in complete, absolute control of each other, which, by the way, I need to stop and say this. Did you know that the doctrine of free will overriding God's ultimate will for all of his creation absolutely counters the sovereignty of God, super sovereignty? God is in control of every little thing and every little thought and everything that people do. Because you can't have free will to destroy your life if God is the one that's in charge of everything that you think and do. See, he's got twisted doctrines. And he's also responsible for the hell doctrine. And what about this? Watch. He even had to come back after putting the hell doctrine into the church and go into making a doctrine to support, because people stopped having babies then. Okay, because they didn't want, look, there's a quote out there about how there are babies and infants that died in the womb being cursed by God and burning in hell. So people in the church quit having babies because they were afraid their babies would die before they could be brought into the Catholic faith and be saved. So he came out with the infant baptism. This is where I'm going to stop today, but to close, because I'll pick up tomorrow. I'll just call this part 1. And then tomorrow I'm going to pick up and talk some deeper things about St. Augustine and my book here on the Jerome conspiracy. But as far as the baby baptism, let me go a little bit further with that. Did you know that's what the Catholic Church came out with to soften the harshness of the doctrine of hell, okay? So once they put the doctrine of hell in place, it scared people so bad they quit having children because they didn't want them to die in the womb or as infants or even at any young age where they would automatically go to hell because they weren't old enough to understand and receive forgiveness and be accepted in the Catholic Church. Another thing they came out with was the doctrine of purgatory, so that a person had a stopping place along the way instead of going to this eternal conscious torment forever in a place called hell. They gave them a stopping place where it was punishment, yes, but we could change their future if the church laity, the church leaders were paid to pray for the person in purgatory. And once the leaders decided they had paid enough money and prayed enough to get that person released, then the person wouldn't go to hell and they could go to heaven instead. So we've got two doctrines to soften the blow to the church. Doctrine of hell, which is infant baptism or the sprinkling that they do, okay? So all babies are saved if they're Catholic and if they are sprinkled, okay? And then, of course, we have purgatory where there's a hope that if you pay the church leaders enough money and they pray hard enough, your loved one won't go to hell forever and ever. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'll call this part 1, and tomorrow I will pick up, or maybe Monday. I'm thinking about not doing us teaching snippets on Saturday and Sunday. I'll make a decision on that, but this will be part 1. God bless you, and I'll see you again right here. Bye-bye.